In 2020, I officially founded HBCU Made, which is a social media platform solely for the HBCU community. So it's basically a LinkedIn slash Facebook just for us.
Wow, thank you very much for that. Next, we will have Miss Summer Joe.
Hello, I'm the founder of Everyone Eats Foundation. It's a nonprofit based in Atlanta. Our three pillars are education, enrichment, and empowerment. I'm also the CEO of Summer Joe Studios and Philanthropy. Philanthropy is a plant to plate to people concept that stemmed from my food social called Summer Eats. And it's all based in Atlanta.
Sound good to me so far. Mr. Travis Jones.
Hello, everybody. Travis Jones, founded a company Navigating to Success LLC. Basically, served as a consulting firm, and also it serves as a parent company for several ventures that I'm a part of, including vending operations, consulting business, where pretty much help small and large businesses scale and grow in areas that they need growth. In addition to that, I'm also still a part of a corporation. Currently work with the corporate team at Mac2 Inc., which is a privately owned quick service and full service restaurant franchise. We franchise 8 restaurants out of the Atlanta airport, and I've been a part of that team for about 15 years.
Thank you very much. And last, we will have Mr. Merlin Knight.
Thank you, Brother Jared. Merlin Knight, Vice President for the South Fulton County Chamber of Commerce. And I wear 2 hats. I own a Valet Waste Company, so it's Magic Waste Valet. So again, been in the waste industry multiple years, and I've been with the Chamber as their Vice President for the last 5. And we cover all 8 cities of South Fulton County.
All right. Well, again, back to this dynamic panel that we have. I'm going to swing it right back to you, Merlin, and I'm going to get straight into it. Can you please tell us about the Chamber of Commerce?
South Fulton Chamber of Commerce has been around 75 years, going on 76, 77. Well, let's say 75 years. We cover 8 cities, so that means we work with 8 different mayors, 8 different councils, and their municipal partners within those areas. Our goal is to help bridge the gap between small business home base and our big box partners, anywhere from that of their inner meetings to that of finding ways for our small business owners to get inside the big box to do offset projects that they might have. A goal that has always been to bridge the gap, make sure that they're spending their dollars in South Fulton, and so they can live, work, and play right in their neighborhood. That is basically in a nutshell what we do. But it's always helpful when our corporate partners, be it the Walmarts or the Clorox or the DHLs or the Cokes and Pepsis, understand the process. And when they understand the process, or as we like to say, they understand the assignment. The assignment is you built your building in our community. Now, how do you sustain your building? You do that by working within the community. How do you do that? You reach out to your chamber, who is here to make sure those bridges are met. And if there's obstacles along the way, we're not guarantors, but we will certainly help you ride a smoother road.
And one of the main things that I'm excited to why and I'm gonna tell everyone the reason why I'm excited why I'm on the show. But the main reason why I'm excited why you're on the show is because I feel like that as the Chamber of Commerce, I feel like that it is underutilized by businesses. I feel that we all have Chamber of Commerce in these different municipalities in these different areas, and it's never utilized to the fullest potential that I personally feel like that they deserve. So can you kind of expound a little upon that and ask, and I guess, do you have any struggles with that, or can you tell us why it's like that, Merlin?
Education, simply in a nutshell, is educating our members to understand we are here, we work for you. Your chamber doesn't exist without you. So it's a twofold. Once someone joins a chamber, be it a small member or a large member, They want to see a return on their investment. Our goal is to make sure you see a return on your investment, be it a new relationship started today or a project going to the next level. But that doesn't happen without both sides understanding the goal and the road that needs to be traveled. A lot of them don't understand that. A lot of folks, when they join the chamber, they think that it just blossoms and morphs into this golden parachute. It doesn't happen, because I like to tell folks, we're not in it for a quick stay. We are a long-term process. A lot of goals that you're reaching out for as a business owner cannot happen overnight, because you have to go through the process of building a relationship with that business owner or company that you're trying to go into. When that you understand that process, it truly works for you. I have several success stories in that regard, because when you leave corporate America and start to work for yourself, we understand you got to pay the bills. There's money that needs to be made. You've already reached out and stepped out to make an investment. Now you want to see, where does my $300 go? How does that help me? Well, it helps you because the fact that now you're part of that growing family that understand that we want to sustain you in order so that you in turn are able to hire someone else. You move out from your kitchen table to a brick and mortar. Now you're really paying taxable dollars to not only that community, but you're bringing dollars to families who need that to support themselves as well. That's when you truly want to be involved in your chamber. There are many aspects of the chamber. You have those lunch and learn sessions. So we're getting away from those virtual lunch and learns, going back in person. Come out, shake a hand, kiss a baby, because the fact that we buy from those who we know. We utilize the services of those who we know. So if they don't know you and never see you, how can they help you grow your business? So that's our goal, is always make sure that we place you in place so that you can sell yourself. Have your 2-minute elevator pitch, your 30-second elevator pitch for that matter, because again, they're watching you and interviewing you from across the room. But if they don't know what you're doing, they can't buy into what you're selling, because no one wants to say they're in sales. You get up every day and you are in sales, because you're selling your business and you're selling you. They're not necessarily buying your product. Your product is a byproduct, but you are the product they are looking to invest in. The chamber wants to help you do that. Become an ambassador for the chamber. When they have ribbon cuttings, events that are going on, while you're volunteering your services of that day and not being paid, but you're making great connections and relationships, starting to build those relationships. I'm always telling the ambassadors that I train, we don't network, we build relationships. Relationships go farther than A to B. You may move away from selling nuggets to ribbons, but because they know you and the service that you provide, they'll buy your ribbons now as well. So you want to make sure that as you're growing your business, that's what we're here to do, help you do that. If you need to do printing, even though the big box is a member of our chamber, your chamber is there for you as well, because there's a color copier there for you. You may not need 1,000 copies, but you only need 3. Utilize the service of the machine that sits there for you. You want to do some email blasting, your chamber does that for you as well. So a lot of things, you need to meet someone and don't have $20 to pay for coffee at Starbucks. There's a conference room at the chamber that is afforded to you because that's part of your membership. Everything we can do to help you maximize your sale to your client is what we're here to do.
Wow, that gave me a lot. I'm not sure. Again, I know a lot of people who aren't as educated on the chamber just got a wealth of knowledge. I know a lot of people don't look at the chamber for basically as an asset, as a helping tool to help their business succeed. So I'm glad that you were able to give the knowledge that you just imparted. So thank you very much for that, Merlin.
My pleasure. Your chamber is here. Whatever city in South Fulton you are in, come home to the South Fulton Chamber. We got you. Trust me. My goal is to make sure we have you. We want you to succeed, because as I was telling a developer yesterday, you can't just come over here and build something and go and take your money back to Buckhead. No, sir. When you build your product here, you need to understand that you got to support this entire community. Not today, not tomorrow, but not for 5 years. We're talking about long-term investing. As I like to tell them, we don't do quickies. We are here long haul. Long haul.
So I'm going to cut over to Miss Scania, and I want to hear what inspired the Vogue Agency, and then of course following that, what inspired HBCU Made.
Okay. That's a loaded question.
Let's talk about this. Let's start with the Vogue Agency first.
With the Vogue Agency, actually, it started off as a project that I did at SCAD. So I went to Virginia State, the illustrious Virginia State University for undergrad. But I went to SCAD to get my master's. And I guess from learning the lessons from when I graduated undergrad, I was like, I am not leaving here without something tangible in hand. So my last year at SCAD, I took several courses. One was like creating your own brand, which was like my CAD class. The second was, I think, a arts administration class, which I got to do like my business plan. And then my thesis project, I basically took it all together and created the Vogue Agency as my thesis project. It was the Vogue Agency, the future of luxury branding. And so I said, if I didn't get a job in 6 months, I was going to LLC it. And I graduated in June of 2013. And October, I didn't have a job. So filled out the paperwork, got the LLC, and I got hired at Cartier like literally the next day. So, but I started doing it more so as like my side hustle, really my side business. I didn't really take it as seriously at the time when I initially started. But I was working with some really dope fashion designers and helping them create their brand, and moved to New York. And then I started picking up clients in New York. And when I moved back to Atlanta in about 2015, I just decided to go full time with my business. And here we are today. You're on mute.
I've been working remote for the past couple months, so I'm used to being on mute while I talk. So let's go into HBCU Made.
So HBCU Made was founded really because I felt like it was a need. So in 2018, I became the president of the Alumni Association for Virginia State University here in Atlanta. And when I initially joined, I think there was about 5 to 10 people in the chapter. They didn't really have a website. Everything was just so archaic. Like it was just ancient. As far as like people were still writing checks and just different things that just to me just didn't make sense. And so initially what I did during that same time simultaneously, my class of 2008 was in conversations of like, what are we going to do for our 10-year anniversary? And so I had the idea in mind and I just wanted to test it out with Virginia State. So I called it VSU Made. And so I created a website for VSU Made and talked to all the different promoters and put them all on one website. So it's like, you don't have to go to like 20 different websites to find which parties and stuff like that. And I was trying to create an endowment for our class. And when talking to university officials, one as the president of the Alumni Association and two as an alumni who's trying to create an endowment, the math wasn't mathing. It just didn't make sense. It was just the stuff that they were saying and the process. It was just really hard as an alumni wanting to support the university. And so from that, VSU Made had like two really good homecomings. And during the pandemic, it was like, well, how can I know I want to do this across the board. How can I do this? And so as I was finishing my second master's in design management, use it as my thesis project, I went ahead and created the business plan, kind of went through the entire process of like, how does this make sense using design thinking and using design management tools, and ultimately came up with a social media and SaaS platform that is on the front end for the students and alumni it has all of the features that you love on social because everyone's in their phone, right? So it has like all of like the group, the affinity groups, it has the news feed, the chats, has an audio chat feature, has all of those different things. Also even has a giving portal. So if you want to give to your institution, you can track that. And you know, it's a write-off technically at the end of the year. So we just put all of the things that we use every day on different apps and just put them into one and just packaged it for us. And so on the back end, on the SaaS platform, it helps the universities track who their alumni are, track their demographics. So now they can actually build relationships with you, because even though I'm the president of the Alumni Association, Virginia State only calls me when they need money. Like, hey, we have this campaign and that campaign. And so it's like, you know, how am I doing today? You know, so how can we build that relationship? And so that's ultimately what the platform's supposed to do. And then the third leg is for corporations. Everybody is saying that they have this mandate to hire X amount of, you know, Black people in the next like 5 to 10 years. Well, here's a platform of educated Black people that you can use, and you do not have to filter African Americans on LinkedIn. That's HBCU made.
Wow, definitely a component that is extremely needed, especially here in Atlanta with this big HBCU base that we have here.
Yes, exactly.
You know, since we're throwing out HBCU,
can we use that at Bethune-Cookman? Can we use that at Bethune-Cookman?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Really? How did I miss that? Wow. Well, you know, since we're throwing out HBCUs, you know, I did go to the highest of 7 hills, the illustrious Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University.
Okay, we won't talk about that nonsense. But anyway, hey, but that's a road I don't cross in November, because again, part of the family went to FAM, part of us went to Stone, a few of us went to Norfolk. And a few of us went to Maryland Eastern Shore, so we are truly an HBCU family.
Absolutely, yeah. Mine is Mississippi Valley State, FAMU. It's another one sprinkled in there somewhere, but yeah. So I totally understand. But we're going to keep the conversation going. So, Miss Summer Joe, please let us know about the Everybody Eats Foundation.
Everyone Eats Foundation.
Everyone. I can't believe to save my life. You know why I say Everybody Eats? Have you ever seen the movie Paid in Full?
Well, now we started off as Everybody Eats, but when we got incorporated, Everybody Eats was taken by Kelvin in California. So we're legally known as Everyone Eats Foundation.
Okay. Well, with that being said, what inspired the Everyone Eats Foundation?
Really, it was just a birth from my food business. I'll just give a brief rundown from everything I've already done. So Summer Joe is my creative agency, housing my photography, culinary experiences, philanthropy, events, staffing, marketing. And for the culinary experiences, those were known as Summer Eats, my cookbacks, and they were weekly socials. So Everyone Eats Foundation was born out of my love for serving the community through food and those experiences, and hosting those weekly. And after each one, you know, I'd save enough food to feed my friends under the bridges. And honestly, I was just inspired by the amount of people I inspired to join that world-changing movement, that mission. And I saw the need for a solution that I could provide without waiting for the handout, and basically did it. So we turned 5 this year, and with a community restaurant on the way. And so basically, Everyone Eats Foundation is a 501c3 organization. We strive to uplift and build stronger communities through education, enrichment, and empowerment by fostering programs focused on youth development, food sustainability, and ultimately generational healing.
So I can't think of the name. They're not called. It's like Community Garden, but not the garden. The program where I know the different. They like, I think Gunna did it with a school, and then some people do have like the community, like quote unquote refrigerator, where you can just kind of put if you go to the store and you want to donate it, you just put it in the refrigerator, and then whoever needs to go into that. So so I know all that is kind of together. So it's good to know that somebody, you know, that I've spoken with that actually understands and actually knows. So I guess my question is this going to be faced around like food nutrition? Is going to be faced around like culinary skills, or just kind of like a all inclusive?
It's all factored in. So we worked with, so at this time we have about 8 different Black-owned gardens that we work with.
Yes.
Gardens and farmers, free fridges, and
Yes.
pantries, different communities within the low-income areas. We've serviced, last year alone, in these 5 years, we served over just about 32,000 families.
Wow.
And majority of those families came to us through the pandemic. So we were able to service communities like Bankhead, West End area, South Fulton. I'm born and raised in Atlanta, and just being around these areas and knowing who needs the help and being able to help those areas directly, just knowing like, okay, even if it's my cousin or my brother, but also my neighbor, and being able to have the access to give food back and really help with those bills and feeding the whole family, because you can see a 1-bedroom apartment with 9 kids in it.
Right.
But yeah, we have those different programs within our food or enrichment pillar. So that includes the garden days, community cleanup, feeding the, I don't like to call them homeless, but our people in transition, filling pantries, and really also making sure people also begin to learn more about the food that goes in the body, really contributing more knowledge around the health and within that food sustainability. So teaching them how to garden, how to really know more about the soil, when to is everything around it.
And that's perfect, because I think, you know, I just became a plant parent within the last 2 years. So I just started watching plants die after a while. I try my hardest, man. I try to keep them alive, but them, I don't know. And I know you're familiar with green plants. So, you know, I don't know how I got rid of a snake plant. You know, it's hard to get rid of them. So I did it though.
Had you attended Bethune-Cookman, we could have put you in a class. Nonetheless, Summer, I don't call them homeless. Those are my transitional entrepreneur friends. They are transitional entrepreneurs, because they are always looking for the next project to work on. So again, because they're just like you and I, and it could be you and I.
It has been.
So my own brother or my own sister.
Wow. Again, thank you. So my last thing I'm going to ask you, Summer, is would you work with Hosea Feed the Hungry, or would you basically have your own operation?
We work with, for instance, we have 3 C's: collaboration, community, and culture. So we don't mind working with anybody, but our operation is we strive to heal our community, heal through generations.
So basically, what you're saying is, they got their own situation going on, but you do too. So
I mean, we can work with them. We work with Salvation Army. We work with Habitat for Humanity. We've worked with different organizations. So if they would love to, we don't mind. But
and the reason why I'm asking is because during the holidays, when we do our Thanksgiving drives and we look for our things to do, we always looking to do service, whether it's with the Vogue Agency, the chamber, whoever, we're just looking forward to doing it. So so that's why I brought it up. So we'll of course. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Last, Travis. The man, I've heard great things about you, man. So please,
I've been following all these great stories, Gerald.
Oh man, but please tell us. And I know your situation is a little different, because, like you said, you have a couple things as well as everybody else. So go ahead, tell us about what inspired your journey into entrepreneurship.
Okay, yeah. My journey was very, very unique. Started at a very, very young age. Being a native of East Point, Georgia, which is south of Atlanta, as the famous newly philanthropist Amaretta would say, is not Atlanta, the south of Atlanta. So growing up in East Point, just seeing a lot growing up, and growing up in actually in the public housing sector in East Point particularly, just seeing a lot of people that were entrepreneurs, whether legally or illegally. And, I kind of figured out at a young age that, I want to make it out of this situation, or I want to make it out of this environment, not only for myself, but for my family and for, just the community, so they can see that, someone that came from this community has made it out of this community and also is coming back to grab others. So, I mean, I could think back early as 7 to 8 years old, just by me being a numbers person and always being good with math. We'll be in the grocery store and I would see the off-brand sodas at the time it was like $2.99, $3. I don't want to tell my age or anything like that, but I said, okay, if I can get 2 cases of these sodas at $2.99, $3 a piece, and I can sell them for 50 cents a piece, I know that's $6 a case. And so I said, okay, I can make, $3 profit off each case. And being in a community where the store, was far-fetched, I kind of launched the journey 7 to 8. I did that for a while. I would just kind of go different areas in the apartment complexes and just, post up and sell the drinks. And then I expanded to chips and candy, and then it just grew from there. And then, even in the school system, I ended up getting so good, Gerald, that I started in my backpack, I would pack, drinks, candy, and chips to take.
Travis, I was over here on mute. I wasn't going to say you was the
I'm mad at you one bit.
Hey,
right.
So I did that. I did that at Park Lane, at Elementary, at Pauley West Middle, and even at Tri-Cities. At Tri-Cities, I got so good. I built an operation, so we had 2 or 3 runners where we would all meet up in the morning. We'll divide it up. We'll sell it at the end of the day. We'll bring it back in, and that's how the journey started. And even just going over to going to college. I know mostly everybody on here said that they went to an HBCU. I took an alternative route. I attended the University of West Georgia, and the reason being was just because of the community that I grew up in. I just needed a change, and I just wanted to, Morehouse is a great school. I had a lot of friends go to Morehouse, and Clark is a great school. I had friends go to Clark and Georgia State, but I just figured if I'm close, then my chances of getting in trouble or doing the wrong thing is higher. So the University of West Georgia was a perfect fit because it wasn't on the MARTA rail line, but it wasn't far where, if I needed to get home for an emergency, it's a 45-minute to an hour ride down 20. And so that's how I was able to make the decision on even my college choice. And even at college, when I attended the University of West Georgia, I started doing party promotions and just events around the campus because I figured the students, wherever the students are, that's where the revenue is going to be. So, I would go in and see some of the, the club owners or people doing events around campus. And I would say, I would ask the partner, hey, can I promote this? Because there was no startup cost to me. So I would just go, hey, can I promote this venue? And we do a door, a door split, because most of the club owners, they don't care about the door. They want the bar. And so, I say, hey, can we do a door split, or, could we work out some way where, where me and my friends can make money, you all can make money, everybody have a good time. And it's a win-win-win. And, we even had one situation, this is where I really learned my negotiation skills. There was one, it was a small town in Carrollton, so it was really only 1 or 2 venues. And one venue, the guy, he felt he had a monopoly. So he said, you know what, I don't need you guys. My establishment is doing well, et cetera, et cetera. So I went to the other owner of the other venue, and I asked the other owner of the other venue. I said, hey, we want to start promoting your place. We want to help you, just grow this business, and also I want to make it more like a partnership, like Merlin said. I want to make this a long-term thing. So I said, let's make the first party. Let's throw the first party the same night as the other venue, but let's make this a free party. Everybody free, And so we did that. And it was packed wall to wall, because who in college is going to turn down a free party? And
Right.
so that's when the other owner, we was able to get his attention, and he was able to pick up the phone, and all of a sudden, he wanted to have a sit down at his establishment. So, just learning negotiation skills, and even bringing, just concerts, being part of like Black Student Alliance, and teaming up with the Greeks, and just, I did not, I didn't attend the HBCU. I didn't pledge, a fraternity, but I knew that, the fraternity had a following. So I befriend the fraternity. So I was friends with the alphas and the kappas and the omegas and the sigmas, and even the iotas. And I built those relationships, as some of you all stated earlier, because those relationships, they're king. And I was able to, pretty nasty party with the kappas and the Qs. These guys just want to party and make sure all their fraternity brothers get in free. I said, that's fine. I'll come in and I'll handle the business side, and on top of that, I'll be fair about it. I'll make sure your fraternity, you guys are big on service. I'll make sure you all even get a kickback. And so it was just, all about fairness, all about, making sure that it's equitable for everybody, and not just for me. And after college, not going directly into entrepreneurship, I ended up going the corporate route, which still was a unique situation. I went the corporate route, and pretty much that was just, it was a blessing, and it's a return on relationship. Pretty much I went out to the airport my senior year of high school just to get a summer job before college, just so I can have some money, some funds going into college. And that turned into, now I've been with the same company 16 years, and I worked everywhere from the restaurant location, from cashier in high school, to interning, to working in the different departments, to now being a part of the actual corporate team of that corporation. And doing that tenure with that corporation, I've been able to build relationships and leverage those relationships. And what I've learned along this journey is not so much about the money. The money will come. It's about treating people right, and it's about relationships and a return on relationships. Another scenario of that, when I graduated from college, I was offered a job, in Carrollton, near the university, at a big wiring company, who had offered me a nice size salary, and some other perks. And also at that same time, I reached out to my former employer that I had worked with throughout the years, from high school throughout college, just to see if they had any openings or anything. And they ended up bringing me on, because at that time we was participating in an RFP, which is a bidding process to be able to get spaces in the Atlanta airport. It's the world's largest RFP. And so, it was perfect timing. I graduated, the bids were starting, so they ended up bringing me in. And a lot of people that took the corporate route and took different routes and went and worked for these big companies, now they call me. Now they call me and say, hey, could you link me with such and such, or could you get me a meeting with such and such? And so just throughout this tenure and throughout my journey, which has been a unique and a different one, I basically decided now it's time to leverage those relationships, and it's time to build something that can outlive me. And that's when my wife and I started Navigating to Success LLC, which is a consulting firm, and it also serve as an umbrella for the companies that we run personally as well. And my wife, we went to high school together. We grew up in the same community. So she's an attorney by trade. And so now with Navigating to Success, we're able to just help businesses in areas of whether it's legal or accounting, banking, marketing and branding, infrastructure, because the thing is, access to information and leveraging relationships could be the determining factor from failure and success. Because there's a lot of great chefs, or there's a lot of great doctors, or whomever they may be, and they're good and great at what they do, but that does not mean that they're going to run a successful business. You could be a great cook, and your restaurant can go out of business within 6 months. Or you could be a great doctor, you know, you could be the best, but your practice, you know, won't make it or won't sustain. You don't have a plan in place or that infrastructure in place. And so that's what led me to where we are now, is basically, you know, providing the information and providing the access to, like Merlin said, to somebody that's running it at their kitchen table, from going to, you know, small to mid-size to large size, and being able just to participate on that level, and being able to contribute. And
right.
Right.
No, I understand. Yeah, like you said, it's allowing people to utilize a network for you. You know, right? It's giving them access to the network that they need to enhance their progression or enhance their career. I totally get it.
Hey, the ROR is just as important as the ROI. So that return on relationship is just as important as the return on investment. And so you always, I mean, because businesses, you know, every business is not going to be successful. Some are going to fail, some are going to succeed. The thing is, the way that you leave those situations, because you just never know. I mean, the tables are just constantly turning. So make sure you keep those doors.
You never know how that relationship is going to expand to what Summer is needing, or what needs, or Jarvis, Jared, or anyone needs, because of that. It's not about the dollar, like you said, Trav. It's not about the dollar. The dollar will come.
Right.
Are you willing to put in some work behind it? I say I've eaten a lot of peanut butter.
So I'm gonna switch.
You eat a lot of peanut butter until you can actually get that steak, but you got to eat the peanut. Be willing to eat the peanut butter first. You got to be willing to understand you will have some lean days, and that's an entrepreneur. Understanding those corporate jobs is, I go in at clock in at 8, I'm leaving at 4 or 5. Entrepreneur, I wake up at 3. I'm still up at 3 a.m.
You're probably not going to sleep. So I'm gonna toss it back to Skanya, and I'm gonna ask you, with both companies, what was your biggest obstacle that you had to overcome? And I know you're dealing with HBCUs, so I know you had to do something.
That's actually a really good question. So I think when I first became an entrepreneur, I think my biggest challenge was myself, believing in myself that I can actually do this. Like that whole imposter syndrome, feeling like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. And I think also the people around me, because it's really important that you have like a solid team of people around you. And so I remember when I said, like, I remember my grandmother came in town and she was like, are you going to work? And I'm like, I am working. And she's like, where? Like,
right.
And I was like, I got my computer, like I'm working. And every hour it was like, Skanya, you're not going to work? Like, I'm like, I'm working. So just that whole kind of like being in your head, right? And just kind of believing in yourself, and you know, you have to, like, you can do it, you know what I mean? And so I think for me, when I first started, that was my biggest obstacle. But since then, I put myself in different organizations and a part of different groups that kind of helped me build that confidence. And since then, it hasn't been easy sailing, but it's been relatively easy because I know if I don't kill anything, I'm not going to eat, right? And so it's really just that kind of like that hustler motivation, that hustler mentality. Like, I'm just going to go out and sell these candy bars and we going to eat today, right? And so so I guess other than that, relationship building as well, being able to, like he said, the ROR, like being able to not just leverage those relationships, but be genuine and not just like, oh, I need, but this is what I can offer you. And so, especially when you're first starting out and people don't necessarily know you or know what you offer. So it's like, you kind of feel like you're giving things away for free. And it's like, I gotta pay my bills, but eventually, like, those relationships end up having a return, because I may have a client, say on the agency side, that maybe I did a website for super cheap, or maybe I even did it for free, but the clients that they brought me back, it's like it paid for itself, right? And so that was my challenge starting out. And I think what HBCU made now, my biggest challenge that I have is, because it's a tech startup. I mean, this is not my first startup. However, it's my first tech startup, right? And so usually when I'm designing a website or an app for someone, it's like, okay, here you go, bye. You need me to manage it, maintain it, like, cool. But no, this is mine now, right? So now I'm behind all of the strategy, all of the branding, all of every social media post, every event, how to fundraise. I've never fundraised before. So I just feel like I'm in new territory. And I actually, funny enough, I kind of feel like it's a slight trigger, because it's like bringing me back to that space when I first started the Vogue Agency 9 years ago. And I'm like, can I do this? It's so massive, and I know what it can be, and I know what it's going to be. And so sometimes, you can sit in your own fear, and fear is a real emotion. And so just kind of getting out of your own way, for me, I'd say is the biggest challenge. And I mean, but it's tackling challenges every day. It's really how you see challenges. I don't really see them as challenges. I think I see a lot of stuff as opportunities to grow, or opportunities to be better. So, so I guess I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it did. And earlier you referenced to the math ain't mathing at HBCUs, and I don't think that they ever. Well, I think now. Let me not say ever. I think now it's starting to add up a little better. But when I was in school, I definitely, and when I graduated, because I stayed in Tallahassee a little bit after I graduated, and I definitely saw the loopholes of either the network connections, or I saw the loopholes of the internship connections, or I saw the loopholes of, especially internship connections. I saw all the different not loopholes, let me not say loopholes, but I saw the holes in the system where
opportunity gaps.
Thank you very much. That's exactly what I was looking for. Yes, I saw plenty of opportunity gaps. Mine specifically, if I would have had HBCU made at FAMU, mine specifically, it would have helped me with my internship process. It would have helped me networking. It would have helped me locating an internship quicker than I did. It just in multiple ways. So I think it's very, very beneficial.
Yeah, that was, I mean, honestly, I had the same struggle when I graduated in 2008, where, the whole world kind of like crashed in 2008. And so it was like,
and we're not talking about how it's crashing it right now, but we're talking about that.
Oh no, I mean, back then we thought it was real crash. No, this is the real, that was just the dress rehearsal.
Right.
That was the dress rehearsal. But we didn't know it was the dress rehearsal. But when I graduated, fortunately, I kind of like, I think it was you who mentioned, like, you worked in, you had a job at the airport or something like that. So when I was an undergrad, because I'm from Boston, I started working for Bank of America, and I worked in their education resource institute, Terry. So I basically was the person who was helping people do their student loans, their alternative student loans. And so from there, once I graduated, I had no plans on going back to Boston, but Virginia State was like, you can't stay here anymore. And so I was still living in the student apartments, and they were like, you got to go. And so I had a job on campus that I planned on staying at, but I just ended up going back home, and Bank of America just picked me back up. And so I was fortunate to have that relationship, to still have a relationship with my old manager, who eventually was in private wealth management. So even though I was a marketing major and I really wanted to work in marketing and work in advertising, because of the times, I was fortunate to get a position in private wealth management at Bank of America. And I was really pressed to move to Atlanta at the time. So I ended up transferring to risk management here in Atlanta, in Kennesaw. But again, it's all about relationships. And one of the things that I realized, my first interview with Bank of America here in Atlanta, when we talk about relationships, the senior vice president at the time, Zaki Howard, he had this Boston College thing on his wall in his office. And I was like, "Oh, you went to BC?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Me too." He's like, "Wait, I don't see Boston College on your resume." I'm like, "No, I just went to the parties." And he was like, "You're hired."
Easy.
And so we've been friends ever since. But but that's why like relationships are important, because when he left Bank of America and went to Purchasing Power the following 2 years, then I ended up following him to that company. And so I ended up working in finance for a really long time just because of the times, and people weren't really hiring in marketing like that. So that's how I transitioned. But really, it was every transition that I've had has been because of a relationship. And even now with the Vogue Agency, we've been around for 9 years. I literally do no advertising. It's my clients who are like, "Hey, I think you would be great for this," or sending me referrals. Like my entire business has literally been based off of referrals, and I'm definitely grateful for that.
Yeah, that word of mouth is something serious. That word of mouth. That word of mouth gets you all the business you need, and you didn't even realize it. I'm gonna toss this to you, Summer, as well. What was an obstacle that you had to overcome?
And I agree with the word of mouth. That's been my blessing as well. But as far as obstacles, I was more so leaning towards it's always been about the money, because my dreams were a lot bigger than my pockets. But I'm so resourceful. I always made a way out of no way. So over the past 2 years, though, I feel like the biggest obstacle has been keeping people encouraged and engaged. Really, mental health, it became such a major concern. But ultimately, I could only control myself and how I reacted. So trying to get people to be happy was difficult over the past 2 years. But I understand, because it's a lot that's still going on. So right now, that's really a big obstacle that we're getting through every day. Like, to even be able to celebrate 5 years right now through everything we've been through, I know a lot of nonprofits can't say they can do that.
Not at all. And I think what people don't understand is the difficulty to establish a nonprofit. It's not a walk in the park at all. It's not just, let me go on the Georgia website and sign up for my LLC. You have to go through different channels. It's a lot going on. So I think that, in totality, everything that you have to do, I think, is magnified, because again, I feel like when it comes to nonprofits, you have more barriers that you have to break through in order to establish it and get it up and running. So I commend you for going through all that, because I tried it and I said, you know what, I don't think I'm built for this process.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Merlin, you mentioned a company earlier. You mentioned you have a waste management company, correct?
I do. And
yes.
And of course, it was birthed out of the relationship of a regional manager that I didn't even work with anymore. This started almost 4 years ago. Thing was,
so tell us a little bit about it, and then tell us an obstacle that you had to overcome.
All right. Well, Magic Waste Valley is a door-to-door service that we provide for apartments and condominiums, as well as commercial service for those small business owners that are downtown Atlanta who don't have space for an actual dumpster, but we give them the same curb service that if they would have had a dumpster. So I have a team that will come by either once a week, twice a week, or 6 days a week, pick up their trash and dispose of it for them. But the company was founded out of the fact that I was working in waste management, and the last president I reported to for 3 years kept telling me, go sell more, we'll pay you more. Go sell more, we'll pay you more. Story of corporate America, right? So as their top sales rep, who was doing not only selling, but training other sales reps and taking care of Johnny's load and Sally's load as well, they were always looking at my numbers. So finally, I started thinking about, how am I going to transition out of here? But thanks be to God, I got a phone call from a regional who said, hey, can you go and look at this property for me? And I'm like, okay, sure. Polly, what's up? I go and look at the property, ask the property manager what's the problem that she's having. She says, I have a valet company that's not picking my trash up. So here we go back to returning on the relationship. I said, okay, let me see what you got. And ding, ding, ding. Here's what we're going to do. I call someone from Jackson State. Hey, is this name available? Yep. Can you secure it for me? Yep. I call someone over at FAMU. Hey, I need an EIN. Can I get that? Yep. Call someone over at Bank of America who went to Bethune. I need to open a business account. Can I get XYZ? Yep. Got you squared away. Went to the young lady that used to be an admin for me who had left the industry. I said, I need you to transpose these contracts and agreements with this name and information on it. Send a proposal over to the property manager, walk back into her office and said, I found you a new valet company. She said, who? I said, me. She said, right, that works for me because her boss had known that I would be their fixer for their waste services for many years before. So without any question, I had no truck, no employee, nothing, just me. So I'm selling trash for waste management during the day and pulling trash for myself at night. So when you say entrepreneur, tenfold, yeah, it was sun up, sundown, trash all day, all night, and we are going on 4 years now. Biggest headache was I found the wrong CPA. So you need to make sure you find the right CPA because the relationship of that I had with someone else referred me to that particular person, and that person was not a good fit. Chamber of Commerce is a nonprofit, so we work off the relationships of our corporate partners. Those funds that I bring into the chamber, because I'm the chief fundraiser. So funds that we bring in are allowed for us to help promote the small business owners and provide programs for those that are looking to be in business. Because again, we understand the concept that you need to make money. You want to grow your business, be it your nonprofit or your for-profit, but you can't do that without some assistance. So when we can step in and help you in those areas, point you in the right direction, that's what we're here to do. And before I got here, folks tend to think that you come to the chamber, get any information you want, and walk away. I stopped that. That door stopped and came to a close because you cannot come to our neighborhood, take our product, and go somewhere else. It won't happen. So you want to be here, do what needs to be done to stay here and help us grow someone else. So Magic Waste Valet has been around, and so that's what we do.
Wow. Yeah. And I know that when I worked at the city of Atlanta, I was in public works, so I'm familiar with somewhat how the sanitation process works. And yeah, it goes into a lot. I know you got the different size trucks. You got the mini packers, you got the big dump trucks and everything. Like I said, I'm no professional. That's all you. That's all you. Yeah. I just know a little bit. I was in the fleet department, so I was the one with the vehicles that deals with sanitation and everybody. So that's why I know a little bit. But thank you for that, Merlin. Hey,
I definitely want to say, I'm looking at the name and I still can't pronounce it correctly. So forgive my ignorance in that regard. But when you said you walked in and saw someone's banner on their wall that said Boston College, my first contract was with the city of Atlanta because I walked into the lady who was in quality control. She had this FAMU stuff on the wall.
See?
With her to find out her mother had attended Bethune-Cookman.
FAMU saves the day once again.
I will give you
that. Thank you. I'm sorry. You're right. HBCU saved the day.
Like I said, back to those return on your relationships. Those relationships grew out of the HBCU Alliance, for one, and the fact that we all attended those HBCUs and grew to know each other over years. So it didn't just happen overnight. But because I can call those folks at the drop of a dime, knowing who they are, they know who I am.
Mhm.
It was an easy peasy. So
Okay.
when you talk about relationship, it's not, and my entrepreneur friends, it is not easy. Trust me and believe me.
Mhm.
When you're ready to walk away from that corporate job, know that your day is going to get longer, and it's going to get heavier. You are going to have some sleepless, some crying nights.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so when I tell you, yes, I can believe I've eaten a lot of peanut butter.
I actually like to say that entrepreneurship is faith work. It's kind of my quote, it's faith work.
Mhm.
Because if you do not have faith in yourself, in your God, like, and you try to do this thing called entrepreneurship, yeah.
Entrepreneur, I agree. I say entrepreneurship, and especially working in the community. I know we've all worked in the community, and like you said, it is definitely a faith project is what I'm gonna call it, because you truly have to pay it forward without any care about how people feel, whether people feel like they whether they accept it and they are deserving of it, or they feel like, oh well, I don't want what you're giving. Either way, you have to do it straight out of your heart. So and I can imagine full-time entrepreneurship. I'm only a part-time entrepreneur. Y'all full-time entrepreneurs. Y'all are the reason for the season. but trust me,
like you, I was selling student ID cards on campus.
Right. Hey, you gotta get it, bro.
Between 12 and 1:45 only. 12 and 1:45, because if Miss Brooks got back in time, she did not want to see you in her office. So you need a student ID in those days. Yeah, you were selling parties, but I was making sure that and I had every organization on campus, student and non-student, who wanted to have a meal card and a student ID to get into your party.
Right.
All right. We had the 8:00 mark. I got 2 more questions for y'all, and then we're gonna wrap up this Thursday night. So Travis, I didn't get you. Tell me about your issues and what you had to overcome in your business journey over these 17 years. I believe you said 17. Right?
Yeah. I'm still young now. I started young now, Joe. Hey, Merlin, he tried to add some years.
I say that.
but I'm still battling. I'm still battling that now. I would say my issue with entrepreneurship, and the reason I say that is because, I guess this is fitting, being that this is Black History Month. But when you look at African American entrepreneurs, and you look at the collaboration, it's like 0 to 9. When you look at these other ethnicities, and like I said, me growing up in East Point and me growing up in some rough environments, I mean, I like to use analogies for you're an entrepreneur whether you're doing it legally or illegally. But when you look at groups like the Italian Mafia, when you look at like the Mexican cartel, and when you look at even the Jewish community, when you look at how organized these groups are and how they won't do business with you if you're not a part of that in crowd, I believe that we, just as an African American community, we haven't figured that part out yet. And I've seen some really, really big deals come across the dashboard. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking 9-figure, 10-figure type deals that we just don't have a seat at the table. And so that's one of the things that I'm an advocate for, and that I'll keep fighting for, because if you get 10 people, that operate these 10 separate businesses making 100,000 in revenue a year, but when they can come together, and they could be making 10 million a year, it's like they're gonna, you got 10. Now you got the brain power of 10 in the same industry, in the same sector, and you all are working on one common goal, versus like, okay, let me, let's have this crab in the bucket type mentality where I got mine, you get yours, Merlin, Sky, you get yours, and some of you get yours. No, let's figure out how we can work together and we can grow it together, because there's power in the numbers, and building those teams. And when you look at some of the successful corporations, I mean, you just look at the leadership, look at the teams, and look at that we're basically like the saying I always tell people, you know, is when you play with pennies, you get pennies, and when you play with dollars, you know, you get dollars. And that's the conversation that we need to be having. You know, we don't need to be, you know, building animosity amongst each other, but we need to be figuring out ways that we can collaborate and ways that we can leverage the table, and we can go, you know, we can go get in some of these big deals. You know, every time, you know, you ride through Atlanta, you know, you see the Microsoft building, you see, you know, NCR, you see all these companies, but where are we? You know, they'll give us a few corporate jobs for the minority divergent programs, but where's the big seat at the table? You know, and that's, even when we talk about the colleges, when you look at these, you know, I love what Deion Sanders is doing at Jackson State. When you look at these predominantly white institutions, and you look at the way these programs are running, you know, they have 3 people, you know, making 6 figures, and these people have childcare and valet for their cleaners, and you know, and you go over to HBCU, you got 1 person making 40,000 doing what this person at the at the predominantly white institution, where they got 3 people making 6 figures, and these people have all these perks and amenities. So I think it's time for us to revisit that equity conversation. So that's the obstacle that I'm fighting, and that I continue to fight, you know.
Exactly the reason why HBCU made exist.
Right.
All valid points. That's all valid points, man. I have no rebuttal from any of that. Now we're going to have questions from the crowd. Okay, we don't have any questions from the crowd. Lastly, we're going to wrap this up, and I'm going to ask you all your final thoughts. I want to know one thing that you would like to impart on our audience about business, and then the next thing is I want you all to tell us what do you want our audience to know about your business. So we're going to start with Summer Joe with Everyone Eats Foundation. What is something that you want our audience to know about going into nonprofit, and what is something you want the crowd to know about Everyone Eats?
Woo. What's funny is I never really knew much about nonprofit even when I started it. I just knew about serving the community. Growing up, I always volunteered with Habitat for Humanity and other organizations, and was always just had that kindred spirit to give back. But once you start learning about it, and there's a nonprofit library downtown Atlanta, so if anyone's interested, that library has everything you need to know. Super resourceful.
And where's the library, if I may ask, please?
It's downtown.
You can just give an area. You don't have to give a exact.
by 5 Points train station.
Oh, easy. Okay.
Peachtree Center Station. In that area. But getting into that, I mean, again, when you're giving back, you're gonna encounter so many different people, from the people you're serving, from the people who want to benefit from it in other ways, to people who one thing about nonprofits, you are not making money for yourself. People have that misconstrued. Also, you can continue to have the heart for it, but when you're giving back, don't have expectations. Even that's in business in general, because anything can happen. So you have to be prepared, whether it fails or if it succeeds. And when people try to throw sticks and stones at you, or attempt to make your business fail, they only succeed if you let them, and you only fail if you quit. So that's my 2 cents for the crowd.
And about what you want to know about Everyone Eats?
Definitely you can check out more information on Everyone Eats Foundation at everyoneeatsfoundation.org. Everyone Eats _foundation on Instagram. And stay tuned. Please continue to donate to our community restaurant fund. You can find that on the bio of _philanthropy, which is FILLANTHROPY on Instagram, and philanthropy.info on the website. And we're looking to buy this building this year and open up by our birthday, which is in June. So please continue to support.
Congratulations on that. Seriously, And let and of course, let us know, man. Let us know. See if we can come to the grand opening or whatever you're gonna do. Or
definitely.
Let us know how we can, support Summer Joe.
We'll love that. Thank you.
Yes, we'll do. Next, we have Scania. Tell us about the Vogue Agency and HBCU made, what you want the crowd to know, and also give us a nugget that you want the crowd to know about business.
I'll start with the nugget. Let's see. I guess I'll just start with what I said earlier is entrepreneurship is absolutely faith work. You have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else will believe in you. That's number one. Number two, when creating your business, look at the big picture. I've had so many conversations with people. They're like, oh, I just want to start a small business, or I just want a small website. There is no such thing as a small business or a small website or a small brand. If you don't think big, then your business will always be small, and that's what it will be. And so you have to have clear vision for yourself, for your business. What's your exit strategy? I know we always talk about like how I'm going to run this business, but what's not actual exit? Like there has to be an end date, right? Or do I want to sell it? Things of that sort. So always thinking big picture. You can never not dream too big. And so if you stay around small-minded people who tell you that you're dreaming too big, you need to find some new friends. So that's my
Max.
yes. That is my advice. But about the Vogue Agency, you can find us on IG. You can go to our website. It's THEVOEU. Just I guess a little bit about the Vogue Agency outside of we just do branding and digital design. The reason why I called it Vogue is Vogue actually means wish in French. French is my first language. I come from a Haitian and Dominican family, so I wanted to pay homage to my ancestors. And so that is why it's called Vogue. So ultimately, your wish is our command. And we try to create brands for businesses, for individuals, that the bigger you dream, we can make it happen for you is ultimately what we are and what we do. And with HBCU Made, if you went to an HBCU, know somebody who went to an HBCU, please go to the App Store. We are available. We are out on iOS platform. We will be out on Android soon. But right now we're just available on the App Store. So it's HBCU Made, one word. You can find us on the App Store, and you can also follow us on Instagram at hbcu.made. And we do have some really dope merch. We haven't started officially fundraising yet, so our merch is our fundraiser. So please support us, especially so if we can get it out on Android. We're still in development. Right now, our MVP is out, so it's still in beta. However, the same way everyone like flooded to Clubhouse and made it, a thing, let's do the same thing with HBCU Made. And yeah, you can buy some merch. We have some HBCU Made merch, and we have some merch for some universities. So we have like FAMU Made, VSU Made, Spelman Made, Howard Made. I think we have about 25 schools on there. And then if you're Greek and you did not go to an HBCU, we have some Greek made stuff as well. So Sigma Made, Kappa Made, AKA Made, Delta Made, X, Y, and Z. And so, so please support us, and thank you.
Wow, thank you for that. That was that was great. Travis, please tell us what do you want to impart about business, and what do you want to impart about entrepreneurship?
Okay. I would just say, be fearless. Don't let anybody insecurities or their failures stop you from going after your dreams, and also just try to aim to put yourself in a position where you can direct your own path. That way, you're not dependent on just punching in or punching out, but you're in a position, where you can direct your own path. Because some people have the problem of, how am I going to pay this light bill next week? And some people have the problem of, how many hundred millions am I going to make this year? You know, I seen the article with Jeff Bezos is paying, you know, 350 million or something just to take down the bridge to take his super yacht through. So I just say, put yourself in a position to direct your path and where you're trying to go. And that would be my nugget. And as far as if you all any business advice or consulting needs, if you're trying to grow your business, you could just follow me on Instagram, and it's a simple Instagram, Travis Jones INC. So if you want to just follow me and we can connect there. Any business advice or stories or connections that I can make, I'm more than happy to. And also, if you're ever flying through Atlanta Airport, no disrespect to Chick-fil-A or any of the other brands, but just make sure you stop by Popeyes and grab a chicken sandwich. You know,
don't talk about
yeah, that's it for me.
Oh man, thank you. And last but not least, Mr. Merlin Knight, please impart on us the nugget of business and about the South Fulton Chamber and your company.
All right. Well, I'll sum it up by simply saying, always remember that you are a servant leader. A servant leader. The reward comes later. As long as you understand you're in the business of service, provide the utmost customer service that you can for your client, and making sure that it's a genuine concern that you're making sure that you're taking care of. Because again, as the day goes long, that client remembers what you did for not only them, but maybe it was for someone in their family. You never know where that reward is going to come back, or return on that relationship is going to come back. Be mindful of just simply being a servant leader and providing good customer service, period. That's going across the board from the Chamber of Commerce to that of Magic Waste Valet. If my client calls and says they need their trash picked up tomorrow, we got to figure out a way. We can't say, well, that's not the day we run our route on that in that area. You make effort to make sure you can go ahead and service that client, because there's a reason why that client needs service tomorrow versus the day after. So remember to always be a servant leader. Magic Waste Valet is here to serve you. Whatever part of Metro Atlanta you're in, if you are in an apartment complex, or you're a property manager, or know someone that's a property manager that's not under a contract but is looking for a new valet service, we can assist you there. If you are in a construction company and need dumps, roll-off construction cans, we can provide those for you as well. And of course, if you need that front load service or those commercial containers, we can help you there as well.
And do you have any socials for either organization that you can provide?
You can reach the chamber, reach us at southfultonchamber.com, and of course, magicwastevalet.com.
Wow. Again, I just want to thank the panelists as a whole. Thank everyone for this dynamic discussion tonight. We've had some very good points that are made. We've made some very good associations tonight as well. I want to commend our panelists tonight, and again, give a very strong thank you on behalf of the Emerging 100 of South Metro Atlanta and the 100 Black Men of South Metro Atlanta. We want to thank you all for participating tonight. The knowledge that you gave has been amazing. We will continue to foster this relationship moving forward, and we want to see what we are able to do to help your organization flourish as well.
So Sky, I got it. Hey, I went to
Tanya with the SKs.
Yes,
I'm
way to
Hey, better late than never.
Right. Yeah. And to the crowd and to our audience, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in tonight for Black Business is Big Business. Please follow us on our social media pages, our 100 Black Men social media page, as well as our Emerging 100 of South Metro Atlanta social media pages, Facebook and Instagram. Also, please look up our website, 100southmetro.org, so you can see our latest events, our Celebration of Excellence dinner that's coming up in May. Also, we will be having events. Huh?
Tickets are on sale now.
Yes, tickets are definitely on sale now. Merlin is a member of the South Metro Atlanta 100 Black Men chapter. So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I want everybody to have a great night. And remember, follow these dynamic business leaders and reach out to them, of course, as well. So again, thank y'all very much and have a great night.
Oh wait, I think
Hold on.
but I don't think I gave my personal one, so you guys can.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I was like, wait, I didn't give that.
Right.
Scania,
You
yes.
did get the other ones, though, correct?
Huh?
You got the other ones, correct?
Yes, I gave the other ones, but I didn't give mine. So you can follow me at Scania Yasmina. That's SKANIAYASMINA, and that's my website, my branding, and my social. So you can find me there. Thank you. I really appreciate y'all.
No, again, no, perfect. That was perfect. Again, thank you all, and you all have a great night.
You as well.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
All right, see y'all.
Good night. Thank you.